Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode, what are we calling it? 76 of the Hey Everybody podcast. My name is Christopher Gold. I hope you're doing well. I had a good week. I had 3 shows last week, and I get to play with my band this week. On Thursday, we're in Madison for a show we're very excited about at the High Noon with Matthew Logan Vasquez. Very excited. We're looking forward to it. My team, my Green Bay Packers, they did not have a good week, unfortunately. But I got to watch a lot of entertaining football, and sometimes I think as people we spend a lot of time practicing things and studying things, and when it comes to like mindfulness and stoicism and philosophy and that kind of thing, sometimes we're surprised. I myself am surprised when I catch myself like, hey, I did it right on, and the Packers lost. And I almost immediately flipped into, well, now the Super Bowl and the games leading up to it can just be pure, who cares, entertainment with no stress or anxiety or nothing. And I know not all of you are football fans, and that's fine. But fandom's fun, and I encourage people to find something to root for. Ooh, that's a hot cup of coffee. But it's nice to have those little moments where you go, oh, I immediately flipped my perspective from like, I can't believe my team lost, to, well, these next games are still going to happen and it'll be fun to watch, and I won't have to be as invested and that kind of thing. So great. But I will also confess, because I try as best I can to be very open about, like, sometimes the stuff I talk about is just the stuff I talk about. And I wish it was more than that. I wish it was who I am at my core all the time, forever. But you might see right here, I hung a poster a couple days ago. And this poster is from a bluegrass festival called Romp. And this particular one was 2015. And it's notable because I got to play. I think if you look real close, if you zoom in, I'm at the very bottom, right there. That's my name. It says Christopher Gold. And I love this poster because John Prine headlined. This poster has John Prine's name, the Punch Brothers, Del McCurry, Billy Strings, Sierra Hall, Sam Bush, David Grisman, like, geez Louise, and my name. And I feel very good about that. But when I hung the poster up, just in as a testament to the fact that, like, our brains are not very reliable all the time. Sorry. There's some spaceship driving by my house right now or something. We'll just wait. We'll have some coffee. No need to get worked up about it. In proof, as evidence that our brains are not always reliable, I've had this poster for, what would it be, 6 years now, coming up on 7 years. And I've saved it that whole time, thinking I'll hang it up someday. I'll frame it, I'll hang it up. And it'll be a testament to, like, no matter what happens, I was on a poster with John Prine. We played the same show. You know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. And the show itself was beautiful. My dad met me there. I had my wife and my son with me. And I got to sit backstage and watch John Prine play an outdoor festival. He played the song Paradise in Kentucky. It was perfect. I swear to God, there was a food truck selling French toast. So here I'm sat next to my wife, eating French toast, watching John Prine. My son is sitting on my dad's lap. Phenomenal. And since then, I've held that memory. And that's what that poster represented until I hung it up on the wall. And then my brain did this thing that I'll just be honest with you guys about. I looked at it And in the middle of the poster, like right around here-ish, this is fun, are two names, Billy Strings and Sierra Hull. Middle of the poster. They played early afternoon sets. And I was a fan of both of theirs at the time and still am. But they have since gone on to be just accepted as like they're the future of the genre. They're both brilliant, borderline geniuses. Billy Strings won a damn Grammy. You know, he worked himself from the middle of this poster all the way to the top of not just this poster, but of the industry and of the genre and of the press. And he just, he's on a rocket ride, man. And I love him. I think his music's great. He seems like an excellent dude. Same with Sierra Hull. She's phenomenally talented. She's one of the best mandolin players on two legs right now. Just fantastic. And I hung that poster up and I looked at it and I had that thought, oh, Billy Strings and Sierra Hull are just right in the middle and they work their way so high up. It's amazing. And my brain immediately went, and you worked your way all the way off. And it was a sad moment of feeling like, you know, here had been what could have been an opportunity. And you've not since been invited back to the festival. It didn't really lead to anything, really. I think a lot of people view festivals as, and I don't, honestly, but a lot of people view festivals as a way to like network and meet people. And I've never been that kind of person. I've never been like a networky, ladder climby kind of guy. I viewed this as an opportunity to play music with my friends and see John Prine. And I got to do both of those things. So I told Tori that my thought at the moment was, you know, Billy Strings worked his way from the middle of the poster to the top, and Sierra Hull did the same, and I worked my way from the bottom of the poster off. And she was very kind. She pointed out that we got a couple bad bounces, you might say. The festival itself, it was not an ideal situation for what my band does. I had wanted to do it solo, but because of the very late night slot, they said we needed a band, and I understood that. My at the time, like regular guitar player couldn't make it. And then when we went to play the show, it was an outdoor festival. We went to play our set and there was a terrible lightning storm. And they said, you can still play, but there's no electricity. So we played a full band show with no PA. And again, it felt successful. People had a good time, seemed to enjoy themselves. It was great. But Tori pointed out, and I'm thankful to have people like her, and I hope you guys do as well, that like, it's not like I got thrown a perfect pitch, I connected perfectly, I hit it out of the park, and then was never invited back. It was, you know, we did our best to like limp through this thing and left feeling very proud of what we had done. But it was not what we do, and it was not what I do, and it was not our best circumstance and that kind of thing. So that was nice. But today I'm thinking, you know, I very much, I want to play music forever, and I want to do it on the road. I want to travel and play shows for people and play festivals and play my music for as many people as I can. But a couple days after, I felt very discouraged about the poster because I had the wrong perspective on it in a couple ways. We found out that our son got a job as like the prop master for his school play. He was very excited about it, and he had talked about going out for it and said he didn't think he was going to because he was worried he might not get it. And he and I had a wonderful like father-son moment where we talked about not making decisions out of fear, and talked about how in the long run, you don't regret going for stuff, even if it doesn't go your way in the short term. And we talked about not hesitating to go after the things you want and that kind of thing. And that was the end of the conversation. It was months ago. We didn't talk about it again because I didn't want to like push him into anything. And then on Thursday he said, "Hey, I got the gig. I'm the prop master for the play." And we're all so very excited, and it feels like a big deal for me to see that like he's hearing what I say to him and he's taking my advice and that kind of thing. And my wife and I are raising a kid who's gonna become a human being and do things and work in theater and play instruments and that kind of thing. And I realized that I did a lot more in the 5 years since I played this festival than work my way from the bottom of the poster to the middle. I raised a human with a human that I love, and am constantly seeing the return of that effort and that kind of thing in a way that, you know, if all my dreams had come true when I wanted them to come true, I wouldn't be able to be who I want to be on these other fronts when it comes to like being a husband and a father. You know, it's like my boy Garth says, you know, unanswered prayers and all that jazz. That's a good song. And then the other thing I realized maybe this morning, trying to think about what the podcast should be about and then seeing the poster and going, well, I should tell them about that. I realized that maybe for some people, this festival was an opportunity for career advancement and growth and that kind of thing. And good for them, really, truly. I'm really glad that Billy Strings is as popular as he is, and Sierra Hull and everybody else. But maybe that's not what it was for me. Maybe for me, it was the opportunity to play music in exchange for the opportunity to get the memory of sitting backstage watching John Prine play with my wife and my son and my dad, and even the opportunity to say like, yeah, I saw Billy Strings a handful of times before he was huge, and Sierra Hull and a couple other bands. And, you know, I think especially in my line of work, but maybe in all lines of work, we're sort of conditioned to like grow, expand, further, harder, grind. And then we feel like we're failing. And maybe the problem isn't that we're failing. Maybe the problem is like, well, it wasn't your time yet, or that's not even what it was. It wasn't supposed to be an opportunity for you. It was supposed to be an experience for you. And it was. Because there's another way to look at it that makes me feel like a damn superhero. That I took my band down, who's not a bluegrass band, to a bluegrass festival. We played in a lightning storm with no electricity. And it went off. People liked it. And to commemorate that, I have this. I have this amazing reminder that like, no matter how this goes, no matter how it ends, along the way, that happened. And you found yourself on a bill with John Prine and the Punch Brothers and Del McCoury. And that's not nothing, you know? And I'm thankful for Tori sort of helping me remember that. And I'm thankful for the work I've done to craft the kind of brain that hopefully, even if it's not its go-to first move, eventually arrives at still pretty good though, you know? And who knows, you know, 5 years from now, I might be, you know, wrapping up my 200th show of the year on tour somewhere. Who knows? I hope so, and we'll see. In the meanwhile, let's do some recommendations, shall we? First up, the weird one that you might not love because it's not a folk record or a country record or a bluegrass record. But you guys are cool and you like all kinds of stuff. Wham! This record is called Modern Artillery. It's by The Living End, and I love it. The Living End are many things. They're a rock and roll band. They're a punk band. They're sort of a rockabilly band. They, a lot of Gretsch guitars, a lot of upright basses, that kind of thing. But on this record, I hear a lot of like a power pop vibe. I hear a lot of Elvis Costello in here. There's an almost country song on here called So What? But songs like What Would You Do and Who's Gonna Save Us and One Said to the Other, so good. And I hope you'll check it out. Also, this record is fun for me because they're an Australian band and this record's very hard to find. And my dad moved to Australia and he's an Australian citizen now. And he got this for me for my birthday because he was able to find it pretty easy. And that's pretty neat. And it's always cool to, feel a special connection to a record. So that record is one I've loved for a decade or more. But now it is also, a reminder that, my dad's thinking about me and paying attention to the stuff I like and that kind of thing. That always feels really good. Up next, haha. This record is called Where Were You? It's by PJ Bond. PJ Bond was a musician a few years ago. He has a really wonderful story about why he's not anymore. And I found it very inspiring and that kind of thing. He found something he liked more and decided to go do that in a very triumphant, victorious way. And that's not usually the way these kind of stories end, but I thought it was lovely. But this record is great. It's a bit of a country record. It's a bit of an indie rock record. But it's just beautiful and there's a clarity to it and like an ease to it. And he's a great storyteller. You could listen to Everglades, the first track on this record, and all of that will be on display. I think you'll like it. It's a favorite of mine. It's a favorite of Tori's. We were just listening to it the other day. It's really good stuff. And then finally, I was listening to this morning. This record is called I Need a New War, and it's by a gentleman named Craig Finn. Craig Finn is maybe more known for being the singer, songwriter, frontman for a band called The Hold Steady, who's phenomenal. And this is his fourth solo record, and it's great. He's a storyteller. He works a lot in fiction. I think he puts a lot of himself into the fiction, or at least, finds a fictional way to talk about a real feeling, which is the best way to do it, I think. But he's a great storyteller, and he has a vocal delivery that borders on like spoken word. If there's a middle setting between spoken word and singing, he's right there. It's very unique and sort of one of a kind, but it helps the story really stand out. And the production on this record is just great. It's a lot of just kind of landscape stuff, but you also get like a kind of blue-eyed soul vibe, and it's really good. I think you'll like it. And notably, listen to a song like Blankets or A Bathtub in the Kitchen or Something to Hope For, really good. But there's a song on here called Magic Marker where there's a line where he says, sometimes it just feels good to write your name. And every time I hear it, that jumps out at me as just like the most beautiful thing. And I can't even say for sure I know the context and that it is like a love song or anything like that, but that's how that line jumps out to me. And I think it's just a perfect way to sum up Craig Finn's writing, that like, rather than go for the big flowery, this is how much I love you, and and sort of laying it on, we get the line, sometimes it just feels good to write your name. And I really love that. It sort of reminds me of one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs. It's called I Want You. And the verses are fairly standard Dylan-esque fare. They're kind of obtuse and wordy and lyrical and sprawling. And then the chorus is just him saying, I want you, over and over again. And I love that he pares it down to that. I love the demonstration that like, I could be poetic, I could be flowery, I could be lengthy and long-winded if I wanted to, but honey, I want you. I love it. Sometimes it just feels good to write your name. So check this out and check out The Hold Steady, and I hope you like it. So, what the heck was this about? It was about perspective, and it was about not letting our ambition, or even worse, somebody else's ambition, rob us of the experience. You know, as I get older, I realize how many experiences I let get ruined by the expectation that it should be more than an experience. I heard someone on a sports talk show today say, you should worry about right now because the future is just a whole bunch of nows anyways. Like a whole series of nows. And it blew my mind. And I think it's true. And I think as I get older, and for my line of work, I'm quite old. As I get older, I'm coming more to peace with the idea of like, I'm just going to try to let each show be as good as it can be and each experience be as good as it can be. And if at the end of the day, all I'm left with, in air quotes, is these memories of seeing John Prine at midnight in my hometown of Owensboro, Kentucky, with my wife and my son and my dad and French toast, that's better than a lot of people are going to get, you know? And if all I get are memories of laughing with my friends before we go on stage, and it doesn't lead to what I thought it was supposed to or what I hoped it was gonna, that's pretty good, you know? And I still have ambitions. Like I said, I really do want to be out there. I want to be on the road. I want to be, you know, getting records in people's hands and that kind of thing. But I don't want to have to sacrifice my contentment or my joy now for something that even statistically is very unlikely to ever come, you know? And I don't want to be blind to what I've done so far, both in and out of music. You know, if I've said this before, but if my tombstone says husband and father, that's pretty good. You know, keep your awards and your bullshit. Like, that's pretty good. If I can leave as few people behind that think ill of me, that's pretty good. If I can leave a bunch of songs that I'm proud of, even if, you know, they didn't get on the radio, they didn't get in a car commercial, they didn't even get me on a big stage with so-and-so, but I'm proud of them. And that's pretty good. And I still, again, I can be very open about still hoping for that stuff. You know, I wouldn't say no to headline in Red Rocks or whatever. You know what I mean? But between here and there and just leading up to here, it has been better than blind ambition might ever let me believe. So I'm very happy to look at this poster. And that's why I framed it and hung it in my office. All right, that's it. I hope there was something there for you. If you're in Madison, we're at the High Noon on Thursday of this week, the day after this comes out. And we hope to see you. We're doing a big rock and roll show. Wahoo. If you're anywhere else, I would love to grab my acoustic guitar and come to you if you have a venue or a house or whatever. I just want to play for people. The older I get, the more certain I feel that, like, I'm only here to love Tori and love Ollie and play songs for people. So as much as I can do of all three, sign me up. And whatever happens beyond that is up to it. All right? All right. Take care of yourselves. Take care of somebody else. And, you know, look around once in a while. And without any ambition, without holding yourself to any standards, your own or someone else's, look around once in a while and see how good it is. And just take a minute and have a cup of coffee and roll around in it for a sec. It'll feel good. I played a show with John Prine. Ha! It's pretty cool. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.